You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Brubaker. This is an alert day. Rain comes back to the crossroads.
Yeah, it was just a little shower, relatively short shower. Didn't rain all day long. So let's go to Mac Perez for a first look at the forecast and what we can expect throughout the week. Mac.
Well, Shawna, it's just the beginning. This is the first wave of what could be 5 different waves of storms that come through our area. Here it was last night. You see it coming through. It rolled up to I-35, and then the remnants of it actually crossed our area, but the bulk of it went up to North Texas. But then again tonight, we have another system developing. This is what happened earlier in the day. You can see how it did thin out as a storm line as it came through the region. But at this hour, we're looking out west because, well, this is last night. This afternoon, we had a whole new series of storms beginning to develop, and it's getting pretty nasty looking there. That is going to be going in through Del Rio and eventually making its way into the crossroads. The concern is, obviously, they've had severe thunderstorm watches. We don't have that much, but by tomorrow, with additional rainfall, we could start seeing a little bit of flooding around here, and then more rain all the way to the weekend. Well, you can figure out what that's going to do to your outdoor plans. We'll have more on that and your 7-day forecast coming up a little bit later on. Back to you.
A birthday celebration in Victoria has hit a snag, and now one woman just wants her money back. Kiana Canales booked Bravo Party Center last year for her and her mother's birthday gathering, putting down a $475 deposit. Now the venue is caught in a dispute with its landlord and has shut down. A notice posted on the business door says it is due to default of lease terms. Kiana is left without a place to celebrate and says all she wants is a refund.
We're frustrated because it was my mom's first big party ever, so she was looking forward to it, and all we want is just answers and a response about if we're getting our refund back because we want to book a new venue.
The owner of Bravo says he is working to resolve the issues with customers as soon as possible. In a statement, he said in part he's unable to comment directly due to ongoing legal proceedings. You can see his full statement at crossroadstoday.com. We have also reached out to the landlord and are waiting to hear back. So here's your viewer poll this evening. If a venue closes after you've paid a deposit, what would you do in that situation? Would you demand a refund immediately, look for another venue and pay again, or wait for the business to resolve the issue? We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to give us your opinion. And 86% of voters say they would demand a refund immediately, which is what Ms. Canales has done, and she's still waiting. But the look for another venue and pay again was 0% during the 5 o'clock news, and now it's 6%. So that one's going up a little bit. So continue voting. We'll have another look at the results on 25 News Now at 10.
As the University of Houston Victoria gets ready to transfer to the Texas A&M University system, A&M is getting ready for another transfer within its system.
25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting spoke with current Chancellor John Sharp and joins us now to share the details of their conversation. Trenton?
Dawn, Shawna, thank you. Placido native and A&M Chancellor John Sharp says the transfer of UHV to A&M has been a long time coming. Now, as he steps down at the end of the month, Victoria and Texas A&M are moving to a new era. After years of effort, the Texas A&M system is finally taking over the University of Houston Victoria. Current A&M Chancellor John Sharp credits some key state officials for pulling it off.
This has been a dream for 16, 17 years. Special thanks to Senator Kolkhorst and Governor Abbott, and certainly Representative Louderback did a great job in shepherding it through the House.
As a Placido native, Chancellor Sharp is aware of the classes needed to work in Crossroads Industries. He says he's excited to provide those to a new generation of students.
You're going to see a remarkable transformation in higher education that's going to occur in Victoria.
A new era of Victoria's University will coincide with a new era of A&M leadership, as Chancellor Sharp plans to step down on June 30th, making way for Texas Comptroller and A&M alum Glenn Hagar to take over the position.
He has a special relationship with Victoria as well. This is going to be a real special campus.
Chancellor Sharp says he has fond memories of his former home in the Crossroads, and he's looking forward to seeing progress in the area and at the newly acquired Texas A&M Victoria.
I'd still live in Placido and Victoria if I if I had a jet to get to work every day. I mean, I just love the place, and I can't tell you how happy I am.
Trenton Whiting, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Texas District 30 Representative A.J. Louderback made a stop in Victoria to give local residents a quick rundown of what came out of the latest legislative session. Among the big wins, a historic $8.5 billion boost for public education, new bail reform laws aimed at keeping violent offenders off the streets, and something that Louderback is especially proud of, which we just heard about, the transition of UHV to become part of the Texas A&M University system. Plenty of changes, and he says more work still ahead.
University of Houston did a great job for some time, but I think they're going back to the Houston area. And Texas A&M coming here and supporting this area, I think, is a huge statement about what's going on here.
Moving forward, Louderback wants to hear from you. You can find this story on crossroadstoday.com to find out how you can share your ideas, concerns, and opinions with the Texas District 30 representative.
2 people face drug charges after a narcotics search warrant is used in Calhoun County. The warrant was used by Calhoun County deputies at a home on Guadalupe River Road. 54-year-old Hazel Riddick and 32-year-old Destin Lambert were found to have 5.2 grams of methamphetamine. Deputies also took 2 pistols from the suspects. Both people are in the Calhoun County Jail in lieu of bonds totaling $50,000. Shiner police are investigating how a local church's van got damaged. Police report a witness saw 3 boys about 10 to 13 years old throwing rocks at the New Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church van one day last week. Authorities say the front windshield was heavily damaged and a rear passenger window completely shattered. If you have information on this case, contact the Shiner Police Department. The STAR test spring results show mixed results for Texas high school students. The Texas Education Agency reports slight improvements in STEM subjects, but declines in language arts and history. STAR test results in Algebra 1 and biology are up from last year. These high school level exams are designed to measure whether students have mastered the essential knowledge and skills they need to graduate. The STAR grades 3 through 8 assessments will be released June 17th. Texas health officials report 2 new measles cases in its latest update. The new cases come after the state reported no new cases last Friday. State officials Tuesday also reduced the number of counties it has designated as outbreak counties. Moving forward, the agency said they would move to weekly updates on Tuesdays. A total of 744 cases have been identified as tied to the outbreak. Fewer than 10 cases are believed to be actively infectious. There have been 96 patients hospitalized since the outbreak started.
The Austin Police Department gave an update today on Monday night's ICE protests downtown. The protest started peacefully at the Capitol around 7 p.m., organized by the group Party for Socialism and Liberation. They'd even shared their route with police ahead of time. But things escalated when the crowd reached the J.J. Pickle Federal Building, a site used by ICE. Some damage was reported, and police say the situation picked up quickly from there.
I was just walking where the protest was. I was doing friendly protest, wasn't touching no one, wasn't touching nothing. I turned around, bam, a cop bike hit me right here, and I asked him what was that for, and then immediately he pulled out the taser and started I saw the little green point, and I thought he was about to shoot me, so I ran, and then I saw another person with the pepper spray, so I ran.
There was a total of 4 officers hurt, 3 were hit by rocks. 1 officer suffered a shoulder injury during an arrest and was also spit on. All 4 were treated and released from a nearby hospital. In total, 8 people were arrested during last night's protest. Austin police say it plans to have 100% staffing ready this weekend in anticipation of any protests. Los Angeles is gearing up for a 5th straight night of protests, with tensions still running high between demonstrators and police. The unrest is also fueling similar protests in cities across the country, like we just saw there in Austin, all in response to recent ICE raids.
Meanwhile, finger pointing surrounding the escalation continues between California officials and the Trump administration.
Tensions continue to simmer in parts of downtown Los Angeles as demonstrators face off against law enforcement and the National Guard.
The police shot the lady in front of me, And as soon as I said, hey, you shot a lady, he shoots me.
President Donald Trump is mobilizing another 2,000 National Guard members, doubling his initial deployment despite opposition from top California leaders. About 700 Marines have also been activated.
The federalization of the National Guard and then bringing in the Marines is something different. This is about Trump pretending that he is the king of this nation.
Much of Los Angeles hasn't been impacted by protests. One city official says while many protesters are acting peacefully, some are committing acts of violence and looting.
There are those that are embedded that are really attacking law enforcement. This is not about ICE. This is about completely dismantling law enforcement.
The Los Angeles protests have sparked similar demonstration in other cities like Dallas, New York, and Atlanta. In San Francisco, 150 people were arrested near the Immigration Services building Sunday after some protesters ignored dispersal orders and engaged in acts of violence and vandalism, that according to police. The border czar Tom Homan defended President Trump's decision to mobilize the Marines, saying ICE operations will not stop.
They'll continue every day, not only in California and Los Angeles, they're going to continue in every city across the country.
In Los Angeles, I'm Michael Yoshida.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. A new invasive ant with a powerful sting is spreading across the U.S. What you need to know coming up on 25 News Now at 6.
Also ahead, AI's rapid growth is pushing networks to their limits. Experts are raising a new warning this summer about that needle in a haystack that may actually not be a needle at all. At first sting, it could feel like a needle.
But it only gets worse from there. If you thought murder hornets were bad, brace yourself for the Asian needle ants. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert.
This morning, new sightings of a potentially deadly invasive species as the Asian needle ant spreads across the U.S. The stinging ant has been spotted in at least 17 states, with the insects now creeping their way into Texas for the first time ever. Wildlife officials are warning of an increase in allergic reaction to the ants. Their painful sting, which can pierce through clothing, contains venom that can trigger anaphylaxis, a life-threatening reaction that causes swelling of the tongue and throat, difficulty breathing, and weak or rapid heart rate. At least 3 people in Georgia wound up in the hospital last year after getting stung by needle ants. It comes as Joro spiders have become an unexpected part of life in Georgia. Native to East Asia, the colorful arachnids the size of a human hand first showed up in the state about a decade ago and have since spread rapidly across the southeast.
Spiders, when they get scared, they freeze and they don't do anything. I don't know what you would have to do to get bitten by a Joro spider, but it's very, very unlikely, and even if it happens, it's not going to be dangerous.
The Asian needle ant is not the first invasive insect sparking concern over its deadly sting. In 2019, the so-called murder hornet was spotted in Washington, the wicked wasp known for its incredibly painful sting as well as its aggression.
The mandibles, there we go, you can sort of see them, are pretty large. They're very, very sharp, and that's what they use to decapitate these, and then they'll mash up the thorax into a meatball, they call it, and fly it back to feed to their larvae.
Murder hornets were officially eradicated in the U.S. last year. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
AI chatbot ChatGPT experienced a partial outage that started Tuesday morning, according to Down Detector. OpenAI's video generator Sora is also feeling the effects of this glitch. Company officials say some of the problems have been sorted out, but it could take a few more hours before everything is back to normal. Artificial intelligence is significantly impacting computer and internet network infrastructures, leading to increased strain on data centers and communication systems.
Ivan Rodriguez reports on what is being done to address some of the challenges attributed to the increased use of AI.
Amid the ongoing race to accelerate AI development, which has attracted billions of dollars in investment, many computer and internet networks powering AI are struggling to keep up.
The core constraints around networking is because AI is fundamentally network starved.
G2 Patel says some of the constraints include bandwidth demands, energy consumption, and safety and security.
If you imagine what the world would look like if we didn't have these infrastructure constraints, you would actually be moving at an even faster pace with AI than what we are right now.
Patel says new networks are rolling out to handle AI's needs. In the meantime, he believes it's equally important to focus on outdated networks since they pose safety and security risks, including cyber attacks, data breaches, and outages.
The outdated networks need to be patched, they need to be updated, they need to be refreshed on a regular basis.
97% of IT leaders surveyed see modernizing networks as crucial to deploying AI, according to Cisco research. Cisco says that CEOs and IT leaders believe improved infrastructure could add value to businesses by driving revenue and providing cost savings.
There's only going to be two kinds of companies in the world. Companies that are very dexterous with the use of AI and companies that really struggle for relevance. And what we want to do is provide the infrastructure so that every company is in the first category, not the second, and they can actually use AI to the fullest potential that they can have.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We had a little sun this afternoon, probably felt the humidity up there very high. And of course, we had that rain today, and that's only the beginning because we're going to have about 4 or 5 days of this. So we did get up to 90 today, slightly below the 92 average. It was a bit as warm as 102. Only 1,300 officially out at the airport, but some areas got a little bit more than that. The thing is, there's another line of storms headed in our direction. We'll be taking a look at that coming up in a moment. I don't know about you, but I couldn't find my umbrella. I thought it was in the car and it wasn't there. So I got caught in a little bit of a rain shower. Of course, this activity is only beginning. As I mentioned, this is an unstable atmosphere that's going to be producing quite a bit of rain. In fact, you can see right here, you see these yellow lines? That's the lower pressure that's developing over the southwest, and that is going to be rolling toward us and bringing us several bands of showers rolling through the area. Now, there you see the activity that came through middle of the day. I'm going to see it one more time. There it goes, right about there, right through the city. Refugio got a pretty good downpour as well as most of our friends down in Calhoun County as well. Now, we look upstream at this very hour. We're talking 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Another hungry line of storms developing here and another one coming out of New Mexico. This one's going to roll over Del Rio within the next hour or so. And then by midnight should be somewhere near San Antonio. So I'm thinking it'll be here in the crossroads 4 o'clock to 6 a.m., somewhere around there. So it's not over with by any stretch of the imagination. This is what we expect for tomorrow. That's a marginal chance of severe weather. So there'll be heavy downpours. There's a minimum of hail. There's a minimum of tornado possibilities. There's lightning obviously is our biggest concern. So if you're out there and about, Just consider that. So lightning is probably the biggest concern that we have for tonight and for the next few days. And taking a look at Future Tracker, well, it should show up here any minute now. You will see how we expect those bands of showers to roll through here for the next couple of days. I'll have to fix that map. Taking a look at the tropics, the Gulf is quiet, the Caribbean is still quiet, even though the computer models still look in this area. On the Pacific side, 2 storms already have begun to decrease. A third storm, A, B, C, D. The 4th storm is already likely to develop, so they're right on schedule for busy activity. It's already begun out in the Pacific. Now, here's Texas. You see this line here? You see the kind of orange color rather than the red-orange? There is our low that's going to be drifting from West Texas into the central part of the state. That is a loose environment. That's all it takes to get a stable environment or a loose environment that produces this kind of rain activity. And we go forward to Thursday and it's still there, and it's including our area as well. So we go from Thursday on into Friday, and you can see the majority of that does start to pull away. So you're thinking, is it over? Well, then we'll have so much moisture on the ground that we're probably going to see pop-up showers anyway. So it's a wet forecast. Now, tomorrow we're getting about 86 with isolated thunder showers in Port Lavaca. In Currie, you're getting up to about 84 because of the shower activity. So the temperatures are coming down a bit. We won't have that, excuse me, the ridiculous heat index that we've had. But I still have 4 days and maybe more of alert days. So this tells you that you're going to be affected by this stormy weather. 50% chance of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So you can imagine that by Thursday, Friday, we're going to have some gully washers and some a little bit of flooding to begin to develop. So watch out for low water crossings, county roads, things that normally flood in the day. Any heavy rain will cause immediate flooding because it's going to be hard for the ground to absorb any more of that. So it's a wet forecast. That's your 7-day. Thanks for joining us. We want to remind everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on the phone. Now remember, this is hurricane season, and when the storm hits, when the power goes out, will your family be ready? Well, we want you to be storm ready with Aztec Ford and Goliad. We're going to give you a chance to win a free generator to keep your home powered when you need it. It's very quick, very easy. All you have to do before the lights go out is go to crossroadstoday.com and register for Storm Ready Power Giveaway. Proudly sponsored by Aztec Ford and Goliad. Click on the menu. At the top left, there's three little bars. Click on that, it'll take you to entertainment, and then click on contests and look for the logo that looks just like that with power in the middle of it, and click on that and give us your email, and hopefully you'll be the one who wins the generator. That's your 7-day forecast, and we'll toss it over to Shawna.
All right, well, thank you, Mac. We send it over to Max Williams for sports. And any weather interruptions with some of these outdoor sports, Max?
Yeah, looking at it, not right now there, Sean. Looks like all Max there rain that we had there was earlier today around the noon time. So luckily it's going to work out for this 7-on-7 that Victoria West is having there tonight at Memorial Stadium. So we'll preview this event coming up in sports. Now, currently here in the Crossroads, we're in that off-season time for high school sports, but guess what? That doesn't stop our coverage, right? Because it definitely includes the UIL. They're setting up a meeting tomorrow to implement new proposals for the 2025-2026 season. Some of the main points there at this meeting will be addition of newly sanctioned sports there in boys volleyball, girls flag football, bowling, table tennis, and lacrosse are among those activities being pitched. Also, some of the other news will include the adoption of a shot clock there for basketball, again, for all types of basketball, all type of areas. Then a 3A division will be possibly in the makes there for soccer there. We'll have to see if that gets in play. Then instant replay for, again, all playoff games in all different sports is another one to keep an eye on. So we're going to keep you posted about what they're going to say there. We'll know about all the details about all these proposals, which will get intact there by the end of tomorrow there, there on that one. Now over there, Victoria West, they're currently holding a 7-on-7 matchup there at Memorial Stadium. Victoria West football looking to build upon a great year there last season, going 10-3 after they lost to the Bernie Greyhounds 59-15 in the playoffs. And again, these 7-on-7s are just good to help out improve that chemistry there on the field and connection going into the season. So we're going to give you some highlights later on from the 7-on-7 there on 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. And then from football ranks to the Texas High School Baseball, where they revealed their Coaches Association All-State and then All-State Elite Awards for the high school baseball teams from this season. And first out there in Shiner 2A, they had two players in Jake Simper and then Charlie Clifford. Then in 3A, Ty Evan-1 and Jake and Duran. And Hallettsville had Tanner Wagner and star outfielder and Texas A&M commit. We mentioned a lot in Jorian Wilson. And then how about Victoria East? Had two players in Kason Coley and Ryan Steele. And then the All-State Elite Awards will be going there at Tidehaven Richie Garcia, and then Ocampo's Lane Schultz. So congrats to all these players being honored there under the Texas High School Baseball Coaches Association. Over Victoria Generals, they're back in action tonight there on the road versus the Seguin River Monsters. And again, for first pitch will be around 7 p.m. And then as tonight, the Generals are still undefeated here this season. One player to watch out for, I mentioned him yesterday from our TCL Player of the Week in Dawson Park. He's the top batter right now in the entire Texas Collegiate League right now. So he's going to see if he keeps that going there tonight there in Seguin. Also other players to watch out for, Dalton Mullins, Lane Walton. Again, they're right behind there as well, Dawson Park there in the batting area. So watch those batters and also see if they can do well in that road series tonight in Seguin. Over to MLB, where the Texas Rangers are on the road tonight versus the Minnesota Twins. And the Rangers right now 31-35, and they're looking to get back on track, and that first pitch will be at 6:40 p.m. And how about the Astros? They're trying to see if they can keep their momentum going as they're facing the Chicago White Sox there at 7:10 p.m. And the Astros are currently 36-29 and have a 3-game lead in the AL West over the Seattle Mariners. So see if they can keep that momentum just like Texas tonight in the majors. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, Shawna, back to you.
And we're back in a moment. It's called the largest auction of Princess Diana items ever. We get into the details after the break. Finally tonight, several items from the late Princess Diana's wardrobe are headed to auction this month. That includes her ski suit, a Dior handbag given to her by France's First Lady, and the floral dress she wore to visit children in the hospital. In total, it features more than 100 pieces belonging to the former Princess of Wales. It's called the largest collection of the royals' fashion ever to go under the hammer. The highest estimates belong to two dresses that are expected to fetch up to $300,000.
Wow.
Wow. Yes, and don't forget the Hurricane Tracking Guide 2025 is here. Stay prepared and stay safe. Pick up your free copy at these locations: Full of Pep in Cuero, El Campo Cycle Center, Palace Bingo in Victoria, Coastal Bend College in Beeville, Went Services in Victoria, Victoria All Sports, and Aztec Ford in Goliad. Don't wait. Get yours today. But we don't have any hurricanes on our path right now.
No, the rain is going to be caused by something inland that's going to send us several more waves of stormy weather. Look for more rain to roll in tonight and tomorrow, and it looks soggy for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's a pretty wet forecast.
All right, thank you, Mac.
We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.